The Tale of Wobbuffet by Son of Ulti. Wobbuffet does nothing but endure attacks. It won't attack on its own, however it won't endure an attack on its tail. When that happens, the Pokémon will try to take the foe using its Destiny Bond. Wobbuffet's Pokédex entry from Pokémon Sapphire. Wynot and Wobbuffet are two very unusual Pokémon. Wobbuffet, introduced in Generation 2, and Wynot in Generation 3, gave the game a very mysterious turn. No one could really understand what the point of the Pokémon was. They were extremely hard to train and posed no real threat until they happened to take a hard-hitting attack. Also, having only 4 moves at their disposal, Counter, Mirror Coat, Safeguard, and Destiny Bond, what was the real story behind these Pokémon? Where did they come from? What was their true purpose? And why do their tails appear to have eyes? Weirdly enough, the Pokédex entry says that it does not tolerate when attacks are dealt to its tail. This causes it to become angry and give the foe the same fate as it, by using Destiny Bond. What is this tail? On the Pokémon database website, a theorist by the name of Bariku states, "It is a key to another dimension. When another attacks or even touches it, it unlocks a separate world from ours. Using Destiny Bond, it drags the Pokémon assaulting its tail into its realm, and traps it there for all of eternity, hiding its secret along with its assailant, before the world could be seen and discovered." As this theory may hold some accuracy, it has a few flaws. The truth behind the tail lies hidden within Wobbuffet's physical form and its Pokédex entry. Most Generation 5 Pokédex entries conclude, it desperately tries to keep its black tail hidden. It is said to be proof the tail hides a secret. To explain the tail in more detail, we need to look at Wobbuffet's pre-evolution Wynot. This Pokémon has a tail that contains only 1 eye, while its former contains 2. A few of Wynot's Pokédex entries state, a Wynot can always be seen with a big, happy smile on its face. Look at its tail to determine if it's angry. Pokémon Ruby. It tends to move in a pack. Individuals squash against one another to toughen their spirits. Pokémon Heart Gold. It tends to move in a pack with others. They cluster in a tight group to sleep in a cave. Pokémon Leaf Green. None of Wobbuffet's Pokémon entries talk about it being in packs. This may be because they leave the pack to venture out in the world and increase their power. Strangely enough, Wynot act very similar to the way the Unknown are portrayed within the Pokémon universe. Unknown never venture out into the world, as they stay in the ruins of Elf. Also, Unknown are powerless by themselves, so they're always encountered in large groups, much like Wynot, who like to stay together and toughen themselves up before venturing out alone. Oddly enough, Unknown is 201st in the national dex, while Wobbuffet is 202nd. This gives us a good assumption that Nintendo originally wanted Unknown to be a pre-evolution of Wobbuffet. Knowing this, we wonder what the Wobbuffet actually is. Its tail resembles an Unknown, but what is the body? Sylveon88, another theorist on the Pokémon database website, came up with the puppet theory. The Unknown report, when put in order, details some kind of capture of another creature. It tells how the Unknown chase down the creature, subdue it, and welcome it as one of their own. I think that Wobbuffet is a puppet to Unknown. When a free Wobbuffet, or Wynot, is discovered, the Unknown take their bodies to protect themselves. This would explain Wobbuffet's psychic type. Wobbuffet have no direct damage dealing moves, but Unknown still sends them off into the world without trying to protect the Wobbuffet when it is injured. They just use Destiny Bond, showing that they don't care how hurt their host is. Most of Unknown's Pokédex entries talk about a power that emerges when 2 or more of them interact. If we look at Wobbuffet's tail, it contains 2 eyes. This could be where another Unknown has merged with Wynot and caused it to evolve. 2 Unknowns created a powerhouse of a being that can withstand heavy blows and powerful attacks, only to dish them back with twice the force that was dealt. Wobbuffet is also one of the few Pokémon unable to learn the move Substitute. Wobbuffet is already the Substitute and has become the puppet of Unknown's power. They use their psychic powers to move the new body around and attack for them. This could explain Wobbuffet's psychic typing. Sylveon88 also suggests that Wobbuffet and Wynot are separate entities from the Unknown. They are wild animals that are taken control of. This is a flaw considering you never encounter a Wobbuffet or Wynot without the tail. Wynot is hatched from an egg, and it already has the tail. Both Wobbuffet and Wynot have very little detail to their physical form. After researching the biological appearance of the two, you find that their arms and legs are referred to as stubs. The unknown may have lured a Pokémon into their cave, possessed them, and created a brand new Pokémon. Unknown are only found near the ruins of Elf, which mainly has a few spots of water around it. The only Pokémon you encounter that could be lured into the cave are Whoopers and Quagsire. Looking at these Pokémon more closely, you see that the colors, height, and appearance are almost exactly the same as Wynot and Wobbuffet. A Quagsire could have come on land to find food, it either wanders or Unknown lures it into the cave, and the possession ensues. The Unknown don't mean to harm. That is why Wobbuffet has no first strike moves. They just want to venture out into the world. Even though this is true, the Unknown do not care about their host. As Bariko implied before, Destiny Bond is used when the Pokémon is out of options, when the Pokémon is unable to fight back anymore. It drags the Pokémon assaulting its tail into its realm and traps it there for all eternity, hiding its secret along with its assailant, before its world could be seen and discovered. That was the tale of Wobbuffet. Final thoughts? It's a really solid creepypasta theory. I have to say I was skeptical at first, but the theory really won me over. Although likely completely unintentional by Game Freak like most of these theories, the idea made a lot of sense and really adds some depth to some Pokémon that are otherwise not very interesting. That was a really great and thought-provoking story. Nice entry. Before you go though, if you're watching this video, you're probably into Pokémon, right? Well, I'm proud to announce that my playthrough of Pokémon Platinum is back. Platinum is one of the only Pokémon games that I never actually beat, so you'll be watching my first impressions while playing through the game. So far, I'm really enjoying myself, and this has to be one of the funniest playthroughs I've done in years. Click the video on screen if you want to go watch my favorite episode thus far. Thanks. That's it for this creepypasta. Tune in again next time when we tackle yet another story made and sent by the fans with When Ash Woke Up. If you want to write your own story, help peer edit a story, or even just read the stories early, check out the description where you'll find a link to the creepypasta section of my forum. You'll also find a link to the playlist of every creepypasta reading I've done. If you're interested in keeping up with me on my blog posts, join the Facebook fan page linked below, and if you want to support me and what I do, check out my Patreon page in the description. Remember that if you want your story to be read on the show, you must stay active on your post on the forum, as well as read the forum rules. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, sweet dreams.